Kia ora homa. On today's video, we're going to be looking at making ourselves a medieval cowl or a medieval hood, or it's basically the whole of the Middle Ages. They would have worn one of these. So if you're into that sort of thing, stick around and I'll see you in the video. So, welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at how to make a medieval cowl, and what I'm going to do is, rather than taking you through the step-by-step process, I'm just going to show you what some of my students made. Now, this is a really practical garment. Now, I've been doing some research. We're studying the Middle Ages at the moment, which is why I'm dressed the way I am, with my beautiful Viking tunic that was made for me by my mother-in-law. But one of the things that I made myself was this cowl or medieval hood. And it's basically like the Middle Ages version of a hoodie. So a lot of tunics would have this split, so they're very breathable. This is what's called a keyhole tunic, or a keyhole opening tunic. And so you've got this flap here. Now, other tunics would have had this all done up like that and just have a normal, like a raglan t-shirt opening. But in colder weather, you'd wear something like this, a hood. This is my one, it's an adult size one. And this is a big shout out to a very clever gentleman named Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen. He has a channel, and I'll put a link to it below, and it's called Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen. He's a quite renowned Norwegian author that writes a lot of fantasy and historical based novels based around the period of the Vikings and the Viking gods and things like that. But he has his own channel on what it is to basically live as a modern day Viking, I suppose, an urban Viking, I suppose you'd say, or basically just a Norseman. And he does survival videos and things. But I got the idea for the cowl from him, because I'd been doing plenty of research, and to get one of the hoods, the cheapest one I could find was roughly about $60, and I made this one for free out of a whole bunch of scrap material, and I sewed it myself with wool. Now, you can see here, this is basically just what the pattern is. It's like an upside down Y shape, like a funnel. Okay? Really simple pattern. Now, if you were going to be a little bit more extravagant, you might have the thinning tail piece that wraps around your neck as a scarf. But I've been wearing this. This is the second time I've worn it at school, and I actually wore it on the weekend while I went bushwalking with my kids. And I found that it's really ridiculously warm, because it blocks up the neck cavity in your tunic. And I was wearing just my bush shirt at the time, which is very similar to a tunic in a lot of ways, but it just blocked up that neck hole and made it really warm, because you've got this bit here which is kind of bunched around your shoulders and covers up your neck, but you've also got the head hole here, covers up your your ears and keeps them nice and snug. I've got a beard, I'm lucky, so I don't have to worry about the face part, but it's very snug. Now, as part of the medieval study, what I decided to do is I'd get some of my students to sew a couple for themselves so they can use it as a dress-up garment. And so one of my lovely students, Lily, she did a wonderful job. She's got a wonderful teacher that taught her how to sew really well too. But this is a smaller version of theirs. You can see how much smaller it is. And so this is some more scrap material. And so what we did is, have I got it the right way? Yeah, it's this way. So you can see kind of here, we drew the vivid outline. Now this bit up here, we're going to hem this, so this one isn't quite finished yet. So we drew the vivid line, and you can see here, that's in Sharpie, or Vivid, as we call it in New Zealand. And so, so I had to, if you see here, normally on my one, it's stitched all the way to this corner here. But we figured out that we made the opening a little bit too small, so we unpicked it and then re-fastened it up here. So that's it, and then all that has to be done is flipped inside out and chuck it on, and it looks a bit like this. Now, super practical garment, And as I say, really, really easy construction. With this one, we just got the fold of the material, so we didn't have to stitch the hood. Folded it over, okay, pinned it into place, and drew the rough outline, and then just stitched. And all we did is, I got the kid on my one as well as the kids one is sorry, I'll show that side, it's a bit better. It's just wool. So what I got Lily to do is just straight stitch all the way up to the corner. Once she got to the corner, she turned around and went back and then filled in the gaps she'd made with her first pass of the needle. And then that way it makes it really, really, really strong. I find that with this, because it needs to be relatively strong because the kids are going to be honing around in it, wool is probably going to be a bit better because we have access to wool. It's cheaper, and it's probably a little marginally stronger than cotton thread, especially when you're just doing a straight stitch. But yeah, done a really, really good job, and this is how it ends up like. So I would really recommend this, especially if you're a cosplayer, into LARPing, anything like that. Would really, really recommend it. If you're into just bush craft and hang out in the bush, it's relatively waterproof, especially if you were to make it out of like pure wool. It's going to be really waterproof and wind resistant. There is a practical value to it too, because you've got this conical shape here. It acts like a megaphone, and so I found, especially when I was out bushwalking with the sons the other day, that especially if you're pointing in the direction of a sound, you pick it up a lot more because that cone shape picks up all that sound. So from the practical standpoint of being like a medieval hunter with your bows and arrows and whatnot, you're going to be able to hear animals a long way off and things like that. And also, if it's green, it's going to break up your body shape. So if you're standing like this in the bush, this is just a hypothesis, animals are going to be able to easily more make you out. Whereas if you're like this, it's going to break up that normal human shape because it's kind of uneven, if that makes sense. So yeah, I highly recommend this, and a big special thanks to Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen, because he shared his ideas online. So I'm going to post the link to where I went and saw it from, because he's got his entire Viking kit, and this is my beautiful one that was made for me. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please hit like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, hit subscribe, because we're always doing wonderful things around here. But until next time, ka kite anō. If you want any more details on about the real specifics on the construction of this, let me know, and I'll try and put in a video of us actually making one. But for now, this is just a bit of a demo. So, like I said, till next time, ka kite anō, and I'll see you next time on Mr. Ashley's place.
He's going to cooperate now. But if he goes to sleep, what I can do is I can just tuck him in like that. He doesn't want to play the game at the moment because he knows, but just to keep his head warm too, and it also keeps the rain off. So it's pretty, for a daddy in a modern context, it's pretty practical as well. Not going to see too many Vikings trudging through the bush like this, but it's really, really practical.